From the Detroit Free Press, I'm Brian Todd with today's voice briefing. It's Monday, October 21st, 2024.
I'm Free Press reporter Violet Economova. The new Wayne County Jail is plagued with issues, and the county's latest answer to them is new sprinkler heads. That was the big update from county officials at a special commission committee meeting on the jail, the first held since the Free Press reported suicides, days-long lockdowns, plumbing problems, and inmates flooding the facility in protest. The unusual public and privately funded jail off I-75 near Warren Avenue opened in early September. It's part of a criminal justice complex that was more than a decade and $1 billion in the making. Inmates have been ripping off sprinkler heads to cause floods in protest of lockdowns due to staffing shortages, union leaders for the sheriff's deputies working the site have said. But instead of discussing root causes, officials at Thursday's special Wayne County Commission committee meeting discussed the recent replacement of about 100 sprinkler heads. The sprinklers, part of the building's fire suppression system, have been replaced with a harder-to-break model, county officials said. Up next is an inquiry into who's responsible for paying for them and any potential flood damage. The jail was developed by Dan Gilbert's Bedrock and designed by architectural firm HOK. Barton Mallow was the general contractor.
From the Detroit Free Press, I'm Darcy Moran. 2 Ann Arbor men are facing charges after police say they found a partially 3D printed gun during a traffic stop last Saturday. The stop took place about 10 p.m. on Ann Arbor's west side. Police say they spotted a vehicle failing to stay in its lane and crossing into a bike lane. They stopped the 18-year-old driver and his 19-year-old passenger. Ultimately, they located the gun. The frame of the gun, or the lower portion, was 3D printed, police said. It had no serial number, it was loaded, and it was usable. A ski mask was also found in the car. The men now face charges of carrying a concealed weapon per police. It's a 5-year felony. Ann Arbor police say they've seen more guns like these in recent years, and they aren't alone. Detroit police reported finding 3D printed gun parts, 3D printers, a drill press, and more during a search warrant executed in September. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives also had a 1,000% increase of so-called ghost guns, largely untraceable due to the lack of serial number, submitted to them between 2017 and 2021. That's per USA Today. The U.S. Supreme Court heard oral arguments on federal regulations of ghost guns last week. For more on this story, check out freep.com.
I'm Susan Tompor, and I'm a personal finance columnist at the Detroit Free Press. For years now, consumers have been grumbling about all the hoops they've had to jump through just to cancel a subscription or recurring payment for a membership. 6 months from now, though, it might be fairly simple to do those tasks. If it takes a few steps to sign online to join a gym, well, you should expect that it could take just a few steps to cancel online, too. The Federal Trade Commission has issued some new rules for the game that should even out the playing field a bit for consumers. Some abusive practices that were used by some businesses will need to stop. Consumers, of course, will still need to pay attention to their credit card statements and bank statements to make sure that they're not paying for something that they don't use or want. You still need to take action and cancel the service if that's what you want to do. And you won't be sent reminders about these recurring payments. It doesn't hurt to ask yourself, too, if it's worth it to sign up for a limited free trial, especially if you have no plans to use that service but once. You could be setting yourself up for recurring payments if you provide credit card information and other payment information to get that freebie. Is it really worth it?
Find more from the Detroit Free Press on freep.com. That's FREP.com. Thanks for listening, and you'll hear more from us tomorrow.